A very warm welcome to our viewers here in Nigeria and around the world. This is a special edition of Business Incorporated with me, Bosin Omofai. It's the decision day at the end of a two-day meeting of Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee meeting. The considerations and the decisions of the committee members will be live here on the channel within the hour by the Governor, Godwin Emefiele. To kickstart this special edition of the show, let's get some insight into the world markets this Tuesday as we go live to Frankfurt Stock Exchange, where my colleague at DWTV, Conrad Busen, is standing by. Good afternoon, Conrad. Good to get together again on the show. Now, let's get this started, Conrad, and begin to take a look at where we are with the United States and North Korea's tensions seeming to have heightened with the rhetoric between leaders of both countries. Is the market tired of these rhetorics and brickbats?
Absolutely, Bosun. This is not the kind of stuff you want to hear if you want to invest money, if you search for the future of business. And it's of course not the kind of stuff to enhance the reputation of the US president as a leader of the free world, of course. But I also have to say, there is a bit of a habituation effect of this on the markets as well. Despite the fact that the threats continue, there has not been a sell-off on equity markets here in Frankfurt today, and not even are investors searching for the so-called safe haven investments like gold or government bonds. No, it's more that investors seem to be saying, let's stay on the sidelines, let's take note of those brickbats, and let's wait for better times to come until we can really make more mid-term and long-term investment decisions again.
Well, while those saber rattlings going on between Pyongyang and Washington, you folks in Germany have to deal with the outcome of the Sunday's election. Chancellor Angela Merkel starting coalition talks with three other parties to build a new government. Will this coalition be a game changer for Germany as European economic and markets leader?
Oh, it would certainly be a game changer in terms of politics. Until very recently, no one here in Germany could imagine a coalition that includes the Liberal Democratic Party and the Green Party. On the one side, the Liberal Democrats with their very market-friendly, very business opportunity-friendly, very anti-regulation policy stance. And on the other side, the Green Party with its roots in the environmental movement. And only very recently we've seen the first of such coalitions on the regional level. But on the national level, the differences between the two were considered to be too many and too large. But now there is, if you look at the percentage points of the outcome of those elections, the opportunity that those two parties will be making a coalition with Angela Merkel's party. I have to admit, very few people here believe that this will eventually happen and really be a smooth thing to happen. But there are people in the financial world who say this could be a big statement in terms of how to do economic policies in the future, how to combine market-friendly policies, business-friendly policies with the idea of more sustainable ways of doing business, business that takes respect for the environment, for example.
Well, let's finish off, leave politics and war comments aside. Let's go to the corporate world. Siemens is reportedly set to choose French rival Alstom for a rail merger. What would this plan mean for the two companies?
Well, strategically, this would really have the potential to be what business people call a win-win situation for those companies in terms of market share, in terms of markets, in terms of technology. This would allow the two train makers of Siemens and Alstom to become, as a combined business, the number 2 in the world after the Chinese train maker CRRC. CRRC has 30 billion euros worth of sales annually, and the two train makers of Siemens and Alstom combined as a number two in the world would have around about 15 billion euros worth of turnover. For the people working for those companies, of course, this would probably mean layoffs. Of course, that's the idea of if you merge powers, you can affect cost cuts, and the people working for those companies would get to feel this. Of course, the French government is involved in this deal. It holds 19% of Alstom, so it's quite likely that layoffs, a reducing of the workforce, would likely be less harsh than if, you know, there was a merger of a company that is only oriented towards the profit and the shareholder value. From the point of view of passengers, of people like me who just took a train to Paris last week, built by Siemens, and who returned to Frankfurt on a train built by Alstom, of course, it would mean that the design would become more uniform. The little differences that you have if you ride on those trains would probably have to go, and they would only build one kind of high-speed train.
Well, I think the next time I have a time to be in Germany, I've got to take the best of those two, Siemens and Alstom, and perhaps ride on a supersonic one. Let's have a ride together sometime in the future, as soon as we can. Conrad Busen, thank you very much out of the Frankfurt Stock Exchange.